What's up, everyone? Hi, everyone. I hope y'all are having a great day. Welcome to our annual WomenStrong live stream and showcase charity fundraiser. My name is Victoria. If y'all aren't familiar with me, I am the owner and the owner of TRILLVO, trilvo.com. So if you ever email me, this is the face behind. I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. This year, we're doing our Women Strong charity fundraiser. This fundraiser that we're doing this year is going to A Long Walk Home. It's a Chicago-based national nonprofit organization that cultivates the next generation of leaders that are committed to gender equality and racial justice. Too much of that is going on, and we need to put a stop to it. And I'm really glad that we found this organization that helps the younger generation know what's going on and educates them with it. A Long Walk Home amplifies those voices and creates visions for the most vulnerable to violence, girls and women of color. The Tillett sisters, who are the creative directors, the executive directors, the co-founders of it. They were consultants on Lifetime's documentary Surviving R. Kelly. They've been featured on New York Times, The Washington Post, MSNBC. I'm like thrilled to be able to put some awareness to them and to what they're doing, because it's a very big situation that's going on, and especially recently. So that's our charity that we'll be donating to. Please keep in mind that all of the donations are going straight towards them. So every dollar counts. We have a great goal of $500. Hopefully we do more, but if we can hit $500 before the stream even starts, that'd be sick. So we're doing things a little bit differently. Usually we do a home Houston show because we're based out of Houston, Texas. We would have a live show coming out, but since the recent allocations and everything going on, we did the next best thing, and we're doing a live stream and a panel right before it. Our panel is consisted of some wonderful ladies in the industry, very great marketing directors, brand people, like some people that you wouldn't even know do the thing that you wouldn't even know that do the things that help push your music out there and get them known. So we have Maria Southgate. She's a marketing director of Never Say Die. Never Say Die just won because they broke up. No, I'm just kidding. No, they put themselves into one. We have Chloe Sweet, marketing director, assistant with label management for everything WAKAAN and SSKWAN, Liquid Stranger, and the WAKAAN Festival. We have Nina Travers, excuse me, West Coast PR manager for Rephlektor Inkorporated, and the marketing director for Night Base Records. No, it's like a nice base. It's a nice base. It's a night base thing. And then we have Jordan Mafi. She's curation manager at Beatport. I love to say that because she just got that position. So curation manager at Beatport. Welcome, ladies. Say hi. We're going to start off by having the ladies do an introduction of themselves and to get to know them a little bit more and how they started and how they got into the positions that they are. And then at the end, while that's going, we will get all your questions at the end. So fill the chat up with some questions that you would love to get answered by these wonderful ladies, and we'll go back to them at towards the end of the panel and get them answered. All right. I hope y'all are ready. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. First off, we're gonna start off with Nina. Nina, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
All right. Hey guys, and thank you, Victoria. Thank you for having me. Been working in music since about 2014. I started out by blogging at This Song Slaps. That was kind of like my gateway into music. And through that, I met a ton of people passionate about electronic scene. And at the time I was living in Boston, which didn't have a lot going on in dance music. There were kind of just a handful of promoters, the same people throwing shows, the same people going to shows. And I started out by blogging, and after about a year of that, I decided I wanted to move to LA and kind of just immerse myself more in dance music, since the Boston scene didn't really have a lot of professional opportunities. I hopped in the car by myself and drove 3,000 miles across the country to live in LA. I didn't know, I knew like 2 people. And through that, it was kind of a series of trial and error to figure out what worked best for me. I had a degree in PR and marketing. And so I started off by doing some freelance PR for artists. I did a little bit of agency work where I did PR for the Do Lab and some other festivals. And then ultimately, I landed at Nightbase right when they were launching their label division. They needed help like promoting releases on social media, and they just needed someone like super part-time. So I've been with the label for almost 5 years now. And that it's been really amazing just to grow with them and with AC Slater. And we've done, you know, some crazy things since we first were doing monthly shows at Sound in LA. We've grown an insane amount. It's been really cool. My role there has also grown. So now I do like all the events, social media, and marketing for the label. And then I also am the PR West Coast manager at Rephlektor. We have a ton of really big dance clients. We work with Above and Beyond, Flex Pavilion. We've worked with Anna Leno, Tritonal, Seven Lions, The Prodigy. Some of the biggest names in dance music. Our roster is ever changing. And I like having both gigs because I do work with really different teams at both of them, have pretty different roles at each of them, and get to work with people in really different capacities. Sometimes it's more client facing, sometimes more business and management facing. And yeah, that's what led me to where I am now and what I'm doing. Yeah, that's been really special for me. And it's been, since the company started out so small, it gave me a really good opportunity to just grow as the company grew. So my role grew, and like what the label is capable of doing grew, and just the opportunities and the amount of people I worked with. So it is pretty cool.
Hey, thank you, Victoria, for having me. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Jordan Mafi. I am the curation manager at Beatport, and I currently manage 9 genres on the store. We like to call them the EDM genres of the store. So big room, electro house, dubstep, that kind of stuff. And I went to college when I was 16. I graduated high school early, and I moved on campus at San Diego State University. I'm from San Diego. And I wanted to be a music journalist. I've wanted to be a music journalist since I watched Almost Famous when I was like 12 or 13. And so I studied journalism. I was trying to find music blogs to write for. And I kind of would just like write my own music reviews on my own blog. And finally, I hit up the managing editor of Nest HQ at the time, and I told him I wanted to write for them. And basically I was just like a staff writer for maybe a year and a half. And thankfully at the end of an internship I did at a booking agency in San Diego, they offered me a job, and then Nest offered me a job to assume the managing editor role. And so I took that job and I moved to LA, and I had just turned 21. And so I graduated, moved to LA. That was only in 2017. So it wasn't even that long ago. Unfortunately, Nest did shut down in 2019 very suddenly. And I honestly just started looking around because I didn't think I wanted to be a music journalist anymore. I thought maybe I could do something else. And I saw the job opening for Beatport for a curator for their EDM genres. And I'm like, wow, that sounds perfect for me. I can't think of any better role. And I fully didn't expect to even get a call back, but I got an interview. I did a few rounds of interviews and got the job. And I was told that they had been looking to fill that position for a few months until I came along. So that kind of showed me how well of a fit it would be. And it's been about a year and a half now, and I love my job. It's great to be able to wake up every morning and you get to listen to music like a month in advance. You get to work with artists. I get to work with these amazing women so often as well through my job. And I mean, there's some other stuff that I do. I'm a freelance writer. I write artist biographies. I do freelance PR for a couple of dubstep labels. There's all the stuff that I just kind of do on the side because I like staying busy. And I'm currently pursuing my master's degree through Berklee College of Music in their online program. So this December, I will have a master's in music business. So very excited about that.
Hello. My name is Chloe Suit, and I'm the marketing director for Liquid Stranger, WAKAAN record label, SSKWAN record label, and WAKAAN Music Festival. And I also help assist with label management. I started out honestly as an internship. I was going to school full time, and I at first went to school to be a teacher originally. And then I just was like, this is not really for me. And I kind of switched my whole gear, and I was like went into English major. And with that was kind of, they'd call it like a subgenre. So it was marketing and technology was what I was really, you know, understudying. And the last thing I had to do was do an internship. And it just so happened that I got an internship with a really good marketing firm. They were a promotional company. They had 11 markets up and down the East Coast. They had 2 or 3 festivals. Dream come true. It was awesome. I really got my foot in the door as an intern. And then I actually took over and became their marketing director while I was still in school full time. So I was taking 6 classes while running 11 markets and 2 festivals. It was a lot. And honestly, I took a little bit of a break and I kind of was trying to figure out, you know, I left that company and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And I started doing freelance. I started doing social media for a bunch of artists and doing their marketing for tours and stuff like that. And Lucid, one of my dear friends, he actually introduced me to the WAKAAN team and was like, "You've got to meet this girl. This is exactly what you guys are looking for marketing," because they hadn't had a marketing person yet. So I stepped into that role. I've been with them for now 3 years, and I love my job so much. I love the company. I love everyone I work with, and it's really expanded. You know, I've grown into and stepping into a bigger role with the labels. You know, I handle submissions. I work with our distributor, getting all the music delivered to DSPs, but also I do all the marketing, the PR, contesting, brand content, all the visualizers that everyone does. So I'm all over the place. All of Liquid Strangers tour, I do that. Every WAKAAN tour that's presented by us, I do the marketing for that as well. So I'm busy and I absolutely love it. It's super amazing. And like I said, I've been with them for 3 years. Is coming up my anniversary, so super exciting. It was busy. Yeah, it was super busy, but I I knew I wanted to do this. I was super hungry. I wanted to get my foot in the door and I wanted to work, and it's no different now, honestly. I mean, I'm in the office super early, I leave late, but it's all worth it. Like, you know, like you were saying earlier, like you get to listen to music that comes out way in advance. You get to work with great people. I mean, like our roster, I think everyone on our roster is amazing. They're great. And it's super exciting to work with different people and their different visions for their music. It's super awesome.
Sorry, y'all.
Hear you?
Okay, I should be good now. Yeah, no, it is really good to be able to do that. Thank you for sharing your piece. Thank you for sharing. And then last but not least, we have Maria Southgate. The floor is now yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for doing this. This is so much fun, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. So I'm Maria Southgate. I work for Never Say Die Records, and I'm the marketing manager. And I've been working for Never Say Die for, I think, just over 2.5 years now. I think this summer will be coming up to 3 years, which feels like it's gone super, super fast. And sometimes it feels like forever. My job is marketing manager, but it's actually kind of split into 2 ways. So on one side, I manage everything front facing for the label, all of the marketing, obviously, all of the social media, advertising, promotions, PR, overseeing content creation. Basically everything that you see on the front facing end of Never Say Die is something that I played a part in. And then the second part of my job is product management. So sort of just really working behind the scenes with the wider NSD team to bring releases to life and figure out what the release plans are going to be, how we're going to execute the rollouts to the best of our ability, and how to really get the most out of every release and keep everybody happy and make the artists feel fulfilled and that their music is reaching the right people. So it's really an all-encompassing role. I didn't always work in music. There was a time where I just graduated when I was like 21 back in the UK, and I just had no idea what it was that I wanted to do. And I was just this massive music fan. I was like obsessed with bass music and drum and bass and dubstep and all of the more like underground sounds at the time, but it never really occurred to me to combine, you know, working and having a career with the thing that I was really, really passionate about, which was music. So I was working in quite a corporate job for a little while doing recruitment until, you know, I was like, I'm not happy. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to go get it. And I had some friends. I have a lot of friends that work in drum and bass just from going to every drum and bass event and dubstep event like that I could go to. And it turned out that one of my friends who worked for a drum and bass label was looking for a PR intern and somebody to help with their press. And I was just like, oh my God, this is my chance to get on a ladder and really get some experience. And like, this is my way into like my dream career, basically. So that was how I really kind of like learned the ropes of approaching journalists and learning how the music industry works and learning about release rollouts and that sort of thing. And from there, I progressed on to a campaign manager role for a PR agency called Infectious PR, where I really just sort of worked on a wide range of dance music and electronic campaigns, but primarily I specialized in bass music. So I did a few campaigns for Never Say Die. I did a few campaigns for WAKAAN before, and lots of just like various dubstep artists. Like I did Yuki one time. I used to do Marauder, and there was just these all sorts of bits and pieces. And I remember just thinking, I want to do bass music like all the time. And that it was around that sort of time, like a year and a half working at the agency, when the job with Never Say Die came up in London, and I was just like, here's my chance to, you know, learn and grow and be more in a front-facing role in bass music and just be close to the artists that I love and admire. And it's just been like, I just feel like blessed to be working in a job every day where I'm super excited by the music. Like I've always loved this type of sound. And I really have a say in everything that happens in the label, and I get to watch releases from like, you know, our biggest artists like Zomboy and Space Laces, Must Die, really just sort of come to life. And it's super, super rewarding to have like a hand in that. And just sort of use all the experience I've gained in PR and marketing over the years to work on stuff that I'm really passionate about. So it's a very all-encompassing role. It's just kind of like an amalgamation of everything that I've learned up until this journey, like up until now. And I love it.
Yes, I love to hear that. I really love that all of us really do play an important role in a musician's like career and how like bringing them up into what they are now. So it's really great to be able to do that. I love that feeling of being able to help people.
Yeah, and there's no better person to do that kind of job than someone who's just like been a fan for ages and really, really wants the best for the artists and really respects them, not just a brand, but as a person. And you just really want to be involved in helping make them the best they can be as well. It's a rewarding relationship both ways. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Like I feel like everyone that's in the industry or like in our positions are true like music fans, because we have to listen to music every single day and like until our ears bleed, and just make sure that we're here for the music and the right reasons.
Not everyone can wake up at 8 a.m. and listen to rhythm.
I can totally feel that for you.
Oh no, cool. Like, we love it.
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies, for all your introductions. I love learning a little bit more about you guys and y'all's backgrounds. We're gonna go ahead and go into our prepped questions, panel questions that we have for you guys. Don't forget to ask your questions in the chat that y'all have for these lovely ladies to answer. So we'll be answering them later on. So, like you said, there needs to be someone that is really like into the music and really like a diehard fan. And I honestly, whenever you said that, I thought you were gonna be like, there needs to be a woman back there, someone that like can get the shit done essentially. And I feel like every place, every company, everywhere, and not just in music, clearly has a strong backbone of some women back them. So one of my first questions is why do we need women in the music industry? Like, what makes you feel like, I mean, clearly we're needed. Sometimes some people can't do everything, or just multiple brains or different perspectives come across. So I'm going to start off with Jordan. Why do we need women in the music industry?
I mean, I'll preface this by saying that we need women in every industry, no matter what it is. I think that, you know, since the beginning of time, men have seemed to dominate, especially, I mean, we're all here in America except for Maria. But I'll say that this modern culture of music and entertainment has been male dominated forever. And like you said, with different perspectives, that's always really important. And making sure that everybody is represented is really important, especially in music when it's funny how a few years ago people would always assume that a DJ is a man if they didn't know the gender of the artist. I've always heard people say him or he when they were actually talking about a woman artist and they didn't realize it. And so that kind of is indicative of the fact that it's mostly men who are in dance music. Sorry, I have cats and they're they might make some noise throughout this. But women are obviously needed because we work hard. We work just as hard as the men. Oftentimes we work harder than the men do. And I think it's tough, like getting into this business and dealing with men who think that women aren't good enough or aren't they're not going to get the job done or they're going to need help, more help than other men would. I think it's ridiculous. And I think some of us have obviously experienced this. Sorry, the cats are doing cat things. But yeah, I'm not sure if anybody else kind of wants to piggyback off of that, if they've experienced similar things or you guys feel the same way about the fact that women obviously need to be here to be represented.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, 100%, like, the most important thing is that representation matters and visibility matters, no matter who it is, no matter what industry. I think everything needs to be equal. And I think you made a really good point there, Jordan, when you said, you know, women work just as hard as men, but sometimes harder than men. And that really resonates. I think it resonates with me, and I'm sure it does with the rest of you, because quite often it's almost like we kind of have something to prove in our careers because people are doubting us. Obviously not everyone, but there can be a little bit of stigma of doubt when a woman enters a male dominated space, for example, producing music or DJing or music business, that, you know, she's already on the back foot. She's being scrutinized more. There are more eyes on her in that role than there necessarily would be if it was a man in the same role. So we kind of do have to, you know, I feel like sometimes in my career, I felt like I've had to perform above and beyond just to feel like I'm proving that I am on the same level as men, equal to me or, you know, above me in my career. But there's always this feeling of, I really need to get this right to prove that I do belong here. And sometimes that can lead to feelings of, you know, imposter syndrome or maybe doubting yourself and thinking, well, you know, if I have to work this hard to maybe prove myself, then should I be here? And there's a whole conversation around, you know, feeling like you belong. But just going back to the original point, I definitely agree that we feel like we have to work harder sometimes for the same recognition that men have in the same position.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. It's kind of hard to even think about that. Like, some people don't even realize that women have to just push themselves just that little bit more to have that, like, that proof, like that proof that we want, or like that proof, like the point being proved for like these people, when sometimes they don't even really recognize it. And as if like a male would to do it, they'd just be like, oh, okay, great job. But if a woman was to do it, it's kind of like, okay, good, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it's like, what? It's not like the same when you did it to XYZ earlier.
Or like the scrutiny is just a little bit more intense.
Yeah. Chloe?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think women bring something different to the table. You know, it's a complete diverse. It's we think differently, we act differently, you know, it's completely different. And I definitely agree. I feel like we do have to work harder. I mean, a lot of the times, because we feel like we have something to prove, you know, and that goes across the board, I think, for any industry, honestly. I think that's unfortunately the world we live in, you know, but I do think women bring something to the table, and we, you know, we are a force to be reckoned with, if you're asking me, you know, and I think this is super important, you know, for us. And I think our industry in the last few years has really seen a big change in that, if I'm being honest. And I couldn't be more excited for that, honestly, because like I said, I think women kick ass. I think they're fucking awesome. And, you know, we're all allies, and, you know, working together and being able to teach and learn from each other and bounce ideas off of each other, you know, there's just so much to do. It's amazing.
Like, bouncing off ideas and the perspective thing is just like a trait women naturally have, and sometimes it really does help out in business aspects rather than just being very straightforward with certain aspects that happen, you know. Nina?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what everyone's already said. And I also think that because we've been pushing our way through a male dominated industry, we're a little bit more sensitive and like empathic to wanting to diversify. Like we more firsthand see the need and see the extra care and attention that it takes to be a more inclusive space. And we kind of recognize what those minorities would want and need, and we bring that take to our teams. I think, you know, seems like all of us work with amazing teams, but they are mostly white men. And I think that coming in as women, we kind of understand the need for like slightly a different stance, or just like pointing out how things could be more diverse and more inclusive. And I think we take all those things and we like help diversify our teams in a way that sometimes men just wouldn't even realize that they should be doing it.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And like with that being said, I definitely agree that women are being taken more seriously into positions that are happening and getting boosted up into positions that matter. And it's like, hey, she's here for the right reasons. Don't belittle her, or don't, you know, like scrutinize her. Like she knows what she's doing, and she's doing it better than you in a sense. So with like, how do y'all feel about being women being taken more seriously in the industry? I think it's great because it's definitely paving new ways for other women to know that they can do what everyone else is doing, that they shouldn't be afraid of anything. Whoever would like to start. Jordan?
Yeah, I want to say like it's about time that we're being taken more seriously, but also something that I've noticed is that there seems to be men who now realize that like there are other men in the industry, and obviously a lot more women in the music industry now, who won't stand to be not taken seriously in their jobs and within music. But there are still men who kind of have this different way of thinking. It seems like they don't even realize it, that they're being sexist, but they are. And they kind of don't really say anything because they know that other people are going to check them for saying like, oh, well, women don't do this as well. And I've kind of seen this happen like on Twitter and like on social media, where some men will like imply that, oh, well, a woman can't do that without directly saying it. And I think that's an even bigger issue now, is trying to find these men who work in music who secretly have these thoughts, but they're not being outspoken about it. And it's very helpful that there are other men who are great allies and will stand up for their women that they work with or that they're just fans of. But I still think that we have work to do. I think that the fact that we still have to talk about this is just proof that there is more work to do. But I will say, you know, as somebody who I have had so many like men in my life, ex-boyfriends, just like DJ friends from when I was younger, tell me that I would never work in music. I don't understand anything about the music industry. I couldn't possibly learn how to DJ because beat matching is really, really hard. It's not. And
It really isn't that hard sometimes.
I do know how to count, even with boobs. And so going back to that, I think about these experiences, and I used to keep journals and diaries, and I remember writing in one of them when I was like 18, just that I was going to prove my boyfriend at the time wrong because he wouldn't take me seriously and didn't take my goals seriously. And it's just funny to think back on that, because here I am now, curation manager at Beatport, when he told me nothing about the industry and he literally did nothing with his music career. So it's just interesting to look back on that. And I think that my track record, and I'm sure all the other women here, their track record kind of speaks for itself, in that we should be taken seriously going forward, and we should have been from the very beginning as well.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Chloe, do you want to piggyback off of that?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. When I first started, I definitely did struggle with a little bit of being taken seriously. You know, I was young, I was a female, was, you know, blonde hair, probably doesn't help, the whole whatever, all the stereotypes. But And it would really, you know, it would make me work harder. Like we were talking about earlier, like I was like, absolutely not. Like I'm not taking shit. Like I knew I was going to get my stuff done and I was going to prove that I was good at what I did and I'm a good person and I deserve to be here as much as the next person. And, you know, that was really my thing. And I'm very fortunate, you know, WAKAAN gives me a platform, then they empower, you know, we're all females actually at our office. It's me, our merch director. So yeah, we're a female team, which I love that so much, you know, but it's definitely, you know, with working with Loper and Martin and all these people, they really respect and give, you know, this empowerment. They, you know, really give me this platform to let me lead the way. And that's so exciting to also be able to show other girls that like, this is happening. We can do this. There are good people and there are good teams that yes, are male, but they're fucking awesome. And, you know, they support you and that is nothing better. You know, I look up to my team more than anything.
Absolutely. I definitely think, like what y'all have been saying, that having men speak up and become more allies of stuff that's going on and seeing that women essentially get degraded when XYZ happens with the male opportunities, like it's really good to have that male backbone because they don't really realize it, but their voice really does mean something, and it's because you're a male, and it's just because of that sometimes, and they don't really realize it because they just, you know, think like they don't really realize it because they haven't gone through it, you know.
I haven't had to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Nina?
Honestly, just agree with what everyone else says. It feels like we've made some progress. I think women overall are, I think as everyone speaks up and makes their voice a little bit more heard, I think it's spreading some awareness that like some things do have to change and we're not really going to stand for these like microaggressions about like trying to be successful in music. And I think that people are starting to change the narrative a little bit and teams are starting to be like, realizing there are some things like just ingrained in their head that they do need to shift their perspective a little bit. I think we still have a long way to go. I think still such a male dominated industry, but I do think that overall we're making some progress and things like this. While they shouldn't still be happening because we should have evolved past it, it's great that they still are, because I think like every little bit of educating people about how it's still happening is really important.
Absolutely. Maria?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely feels like gradually, slowly but surely, more progress is being made. I mean, here we all are, we're all smashing it, we're all doing a great job. Yeah, and I think as a woman, it's important as well to have inspirational women. You know, if you could see yourself now 5 years ago or 6 years ago or whenever it was you started in the industry, you know, think about how inspired you would be. And when you're entering the industry, you have to find a successful woman and somebody that you can look up to. And that position and that representation is so important. And you know, now that we're here, now that we made it and we're here in the industry and we're making big moves and changes for representation, it's important to remember, like, you know, it's okay to like toot your own horn and like speak about our achievements and really put out into the world, you know, we can do it. This is fine. Yes, it's male dominated and it's intimidating, but there is a space for you here if you just keep on the straight and narrow and you just focus, and you can make it through. And you know, we could be those women now that younger women in the who want to get into the industry can look up to, and they can think, oh, you know, if she could do it, then I can do it too. And you know, as we move forward and things progress and more awareness is made, more voices are heard, more women are going to be in those positions, which leads to more women feeling like they can do it and moving into that space, and like we are getting there eventually. And yeah, just with men speaking up as well, like men are speaking up, but like more men need to speak up. There are a lot of men like in music, and I guess any industry anywhere, that you know, aren't openly sexist, or I wouldn't even class them as like, you know, secretly sexist or against women being progressive in music, but they're just passive. And I think being passive is, you know, almost just as harmful as going on Twitter and spewing sexist stuff about women producers or who's being ghost produced, you know. If you're in a passive position, then, you know, you should be using your voice to lift up women and, you know, join the women who are already doing it and saying, you know, this is fine. You know, we're encouraging women to join us and everyone is welcome here. So we're making progress. We just need to keep at it.
Absolutely, yeah. We need to let them know, and they should know that it's a very welcoming community. And if if we can make it and we can pave the way or essentially help anybody do it, we will. Like, we're here to help. It's not like it's a dog eat dog world like it may be portrayed, but there are people there willing to help you and there to boost you and support you all throughout the way. I think I really do think it's important to be a woman in the industry because it just helps essentially just round out the bigger picture in my eyes. Just being able to have that different perspective, being able to help them out and make ways for different opportunities to come rather than just being a white male. Like, we have LGBT being so much more prominent, people of color being so much more prominent, women of color being more prominent, and I really, really, really love that. So that brings me to my next question. What does being a woman in the music industry mean to you? I will start off with Chloe.
Being a woman in the music industry, to me, I mean, it's super special. Honestly, I think it's incredible what we're doing. We are paving the way, and like Maria was saying, to be able to be someone that someone else can look up to, for other females who can come up in this industry and know that there are other people doing it, and there are plenty of women now getting into the industry and making waves and doing something. I think it's something totally special. I think it's beautiful. I definitely think I love my job. I love what I do. I love everyone I work with across the board. It's super imperative that like we get to do that, and that's special to me. And I love it, honestly. Yeah, it can be hard, but life is hard, right? You know, and it's at the end of the day, it's rewarding to know that you're kicking ass and you're doing something that maybe someone is rooting against you and saying you can't just because you're a girl. And I think that's bullshit.
Nina.
I think being a woman in music is honestly, I mean, it has its challenges, but it's fun. And I think it's kind of uplifting. I think you kind of, even though we oftentimes aren't really seen or taken as being in a position of power, it does kind of have a sense of power. Being like someone kind of being the underdog. It's just like, it's a little bit, you do have to work a little harder, but I feel like we all have our hearts in the right place. And it's kind of just like, it's nice to kind of band together and have that motivation. I feel like a lot of times you have like your built-in little family, just like when you're even just added on email with one other woman on the team, you're like, oh my God, yes, hi, like one of me. So I think those moments are kind of really special. And I think that we're all just trying to be badasses. We're all just trying to be forces to be reckoned with. And I think it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Maria.
Yeah, I just want to agree with what Nina was saying there about like when you, on the rare occasion, you know, that you end up being in an email chain or working with a woman or something, it's just like the most exciting moment ever. You're just like, oh my God, my people. We want more of that. It's just a diversified, nicer working experience. You know, we want everyone in here. Being a woman in music to me is just super, super special. As to what I was saying before, like I was just a massive fangirl before, like little rave girl, just huge fangirl of bass music and electronic music as a whole. And having come this far, it's just super, super important as a woman in terms of representation. And I want to be able to use my position as well to, you know, I'm talking about helping women and encouraging women, you know, other girls, students, women, female identifying people, anybody that wants to ever like reach out to me to like, you know, get some advice or real life experience or anything like that, I'm always open to that. And I think that's a very special thing that can come with being on this end of the journey and having made it this far, is that I really am genuinely open to helping other women get this far. And I don't take that for granted. I want to help people. It feels
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. We're all here to help each other. It's never pinning up someone against each other. Like there's no need for that, especially in our field and our essentially in electronic music. Like it's a very welcoming community. So for the back end to kind of be essentially gatekeeping it is not really something that I look forward to in some instances. So it's nice that like, you know, we can welcome people and have them in our presence in our industry and making it even better. Jordan, why is being a woman such a great why is being a woman so great? Why is being a woman in the industry so great?
I mean, I will say, like, when it comes to being a woman in the industry and what it means to me, it's like these other women have said, it's hard work. It really is. And I think working in music in general is hard work. Everybody kind of has to prove themselves, no matter the gender. But of course, women have that extra barrier because it's been a male-dominated industry for so long. But I'm the only woman on the curation team at Beatport. I'm also the only American. The rest of my team is based in Berlin. So it was pretty isolating at first, not only being the only woman, but being so far from my teammates. I actually haven't met any of the other curators on my team except my boss, like in person. We're very restricted to Zoom calls, and I wake up at 6 a.m. every day, just because I have meetings starting at 7 a.m. And I really love my team, and I love like working with other men who at least just see me as somebody who works hard and I know how to do my job. And I've had job experiences before where I was talked down to and told that my taste wasn't good enough, my writing wasn't good enough, just various things about me that men kind of wanted to have power over me. And now finally being at Beatport, where I am considered the expert of my genres, it's just really liberating because it's something that I felt I've had to prove for so long. And now I'm somewhere where they come to me because they know I'm the expert in this genre or in this area of dance music. So I think that it's really meaningful to be at this point. I don't know if I ever expected it to happen though. And as you know, Maria said, with other women and girls who want to work in music, it's hard when you don't have somebody to look up to, and that's why it's so important for women to be in music. Is that we need someone to look up to for these girls. And I actually met Nina because we were in a group called Nap Girls, and I was only 18 when I joined Nap Girls, and it made such a big difference to me because I had all these women who were working in music and kicking ass, and I was like, oh my god, that's all I want to do. Like, I want to be connected to these women. And so that's how I kind of developed this network of women. And you know, any advice about like job interviews and stuff like that, that really helped me. And so being a woman in music, what it means to me is just the fact that we can be just as hardworking, if not more hardworking than the men. We're all fans of this. We're all very passionate about our job. And I don't think I've met a woman in dance music who wasn't passionate about her job, but I've met plenty of men in dance music who don't care. And that's something that really sticks out to me. You know, it makes me wonder, like, why are you even in this business? But I know that all of the women who are here fought really hard to get here. And so that's just cool to know that everybody worked really hard and we all deserve to be here. I think that's really special.
It's definitely a different type of grind, essentially. I feel like it's a little bit tougher for us. It's a little bit a lot. I feel like, I don't know, for me it was a lot of back steps before I took a lot of very big steps, you know, and I feel like that's how it is for most people and every other stuff. But for like being a woman, especially in the music industry, it's a lot of steps back before I actually started getting respected and started getting my big footsteps in the door. And it's really nice to see where that stuff could lead me now that I'm like accepted. And it's just like weird to kind of think like that, like it shouldn't have to be like that hard or anything like that, you know. So the last prepped question I have, and then we'll move to Q&A, live questions from the chat. A lot of great questions have been popping up. If y'all have any more, keep sending them in. One thing I would like to know is if you could tell one thing to yourself prior to your success, what would it be? Like a piece of advice or like something you'd be like looking out for or anything like that. Chloe, would you like to start?
Yeah, I mean, I always say, and I will say to the day that I take every opportunity you can, learn, grow, connect, be a good person, especially. But I mean, really getting your foot in the door, there are so many different aspects that go into our industry. I mean, it's amazing how many different jobs there really are out there that go into what we're all doing, and I think taking opportunity every single chance that you can is one of the best things that you can do. And also being secure with who you are as a person, knowing your worth and knowing that you're smart and knowing that you're good at what you're doing, you'll succeed. Definitely.
Agree. Self-confidence, although it may be hard for everyone in every aspect, but it is definitely something you can like just dig out for that one moment that you need it, and it will take you way higher, and you'll gain that confidence tenfold for sure. Jordan, some advice that you would tell yourself?
I would tell my younger self to not listen to the men who told me I couldn't do it. Like I would clearly, I mean, I didn't listen to them in the fact that I was never like, okay, I guess I just won't do this. But I mean, I was hard on myself. I really was, because when I did fail, because I mean, failure is necessary in order to succeed. I'm sure we've all had our fair share of failures. Anytime I did fail, I thought like, okay, yeah, they were right. I couldn't do it. Maybe this just isn't for me. And, I'd kind of wallow a bit. And, a few days or weeks later, I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to try again. And that's especially how I felt about learning how to DJ. I was 16 when I learned how to DJ. And all these guys at the club where I was DJing, they kept saying that I didn't deserve to be playing the set that I did, saying like, I've been DJing for this many years and now Jordan's going to DJ and open up for this artist. Like, that's not fair. Like my dad got me DJ headphones for Christmas, and one of the male DJs was like, wow, now you have better headphones than me. And that's not fair because you're not a real DJ. And it's just ridiculous when I look back on stuff like this and how it bothered me so much. And it shouldn't have. But, I was a lot younger, so I didn't really see it the way I do now. I would tell myself like, clearly I did go against them and I proved them wrong, but I wish that I just didn't take it so personally. I wish that I could know what I know now, and it kind of would have saved me some heartache and some anxiety and imposter syndrome, which is something that I'm sure everybody here deals with from time to time. I deal with it quite a lot. And so it's hard to kind of come to terms with the fact that these were just men who didn't know what I was capable of. And I had it in me all along. So I would just tell myself, don't sweat it. You're going to do fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes you really do have to let the dust fly off your shoulders. They're just hating because they like to hate. They're bored, and they were just jealous. Sorry that I have better headphones than you. I'm sure you'll need to borrow some whenever you go up on stage next time. So
they hate us because they ain't us.
Exactly. So damn right. Maria, what would be something you would tell yourself prior to your success?
I would tell my younger self prior to my success, there is a space there for you, and all you need to do is just go and take it. As I said, I struggled with some confidence issues like when I came out of studying, and I wasn't quite sure how to get my foot in the industry. And I just found it really, really intimidating, and I felt it quite a closed off world. Like I said, there were inspirational women in there that I really sort of clung on to in terms of getting me in there, and I looked up to them and they helped me in my journey, but there weren't very many. And that sort of made me feel like there wasn't a welcome space there for me. And it took me a little while to just grow my confidence and realize that there's a space there if I make a space there. So I really just sort of got my head down and focused and did it and did the grind. And now being here on the other side, it feels silly that I even felt like that at the time, even though it was so easy to doubt myself. So, everybody that is in that position that feels like, I want to do this, but maybe it isn't for me. Maybe I'm not the right person. You are the right person, and you can claim that space, and you just have to do it. Your hard work will do the talking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you put in the energy and the work, it will show. Everybody you'll see like apples to oranges. They'll see the two and clearly go with the best, and they'll know what's up. Absolutely.
100%.
Yes. Nina, what would be an advice that you would tell yourself prior to your success?
First of all, I just want to say what everyone else has already said is just very relatable and so true. And to add to that, I would tell my younger self, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And that's something I even still have to remind myself of now. I'm not like a shy person, but I'm definitely like timid in the sense that I'm like, I question myself and what I'm capable of. And oftentimes I see an opportunity for something and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, but I don't want to bring it up, or like, I don't want to mention this idea, or I don't want to ask for this thing that I want. And what it boils down to is that if you don't assert yourself and if you don't ask for it, someone else is going to, and they're going to get it before you. And if you are too shy or too worried about even asking the question, then your answer is no, the opportunity is not going to come to you. And so I guess I just wish my younger self was like a little bit more assertive and believed in myself a little bit more. And even now I have to remind myself of that. So it's just like, it's kind of crazy. But I think, yeah, if there's something you want, just go out and ask for it, because the worst that can happen is someone tells you no, and at least you tried. It's better than not putting yourself out there at all.
I totally feel that, because now that I'm in like this position of, people answer to me or like stuff like that, I can't really have too much of that imposter syndrome, or where I'm like self-conflicting with myself and I'm just like, wait, I'm the boss. I can say yes. Like, I don't even have to say no. And that's something that's really nice, that comes with like a really nice reward that comes with all the hard work, being able to be your own boss and be able to do that. It's really nice. Thank you, ladies. Y'all have been hitting some like nails on the head. Like, y'all have been really spitting some truth. I'm really, really happy for this. So I'm gonna start going to some questions in the chat. This first question is for I Am Euphorian. So this question is for everyone, since everyone mentioned trying to find their career in music while dealing with school or part-time or full-time. How do you go about that? I'm a college student trying to balance music and school, and it's been hell trying to figure it out. So any advice would be helpful. I know Chloe, Jordan, you're in school right now. I know y'all all went to school, so I'll just start off with Jordan.
Okay, so it's funny because people will always be like, how do you have a full-time job and go to grad school? Like, that sounds crazy. Like, not only it's like not only that, but I do freelance writing work all the time too, and I'm online all the time. I know every meme, so clearly I dedicate my time to stuff like that. And so I say it's hard work. It really is hard work. Unfortunately, you have to be focused and you have to be driven. If you're not so passionate about music, then it's gonna fall through the cracks if it's not something that you really, really, truly know that you want to do. And from what this question sounds like, it is something that you really, truly know that you want to do, and you'll make the time. And there are times where you'll forget an assignment, or you might miss a day of like crafting your practice. But it's a learning process for sure. And I mean, I was a full-time college student when I was writing articles for Nest HQ, and now I only take 2 classes at once, just because full-time job. I didn't want to take the 3 classes, which is considered full-time. But like I said, it's a matter of how bad you want it, and you'll make the time. And it's only going to be a few years, it's not like it's going to be forever where things are going to be tough and you're going to be too busy. So I would fully recommend just taking the time, making it for yourself. And in a couple of years, you'll be done with school and you'll be further in your journey.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, there'll be something that clicks that tells you it's like, okay, I am willing to stay up late to study for this test, and also I'm going to stay up late to do this write-up because it's due tomorrow, or I have to do whatever for this artist. But yeah, no, I love that. Maria, goes to you. How do you balance your life between school and work?
First off, hi Euphorian. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I don't have too much more to add to what Jordan said, because that really just hits the nail on the head. You will find the time to do it. It will be stressful, but it will absolutely pay off. In terms of just like strategies, in terms of coping with, both sides of the workload, something that I've always done that helps me is just allocate certain times to each thing you have to do. That will look different for everybody. You might be like a night owl, you might prefer doing one type of thing in the morning, another type of thing in the afternoon, just depending on how you feel. But learn what it is that you feel most productive in at certain times of the day, and then allocate tasks based on that suits you the most. And that might go into the evening. You might want to say, I'm going to work on this thing for a certain amount of hours, allocate yourself a break, take your mind off it. There is no productivity without respite. So make sure that you give yourself, time to rest and your brain to recharge. But just allocating times to things. And that has never failed me. Like if you're strict with yourself, but also kind to yourself, and you lay your days out and you plan things, then it should go to plan.
I definitely think like 30-minute breaks or something, like just step away from the computer. Blue light glasses can only help for so long. Like you need to step away from the computer.
And don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if it's like a proofread, like you can't read everything, Chloe?
I would say that and organization, I think, is one of the biggest key things that you really need, especially in this industry. And I'm sure you guys can all agree, we juggle different things all day long. It's nonstop. It's different things coming and going through your email, working with different things all the time. It's never the same exact task every time. So that's my biggest thing, was organization. I was, like I said, I was doing 11 markets, and I was taking 6 classes a semester, and definitely was a lot, but I was super, super organized and prioritized. And giving your body rest is also, yes, a very big one for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The mind is a muscle too. It needs to relax too.
Me too.
Nina?
Can you just repeat the first part of the question because I missed it?
No, don't worry. It's what trying to find your career in music while dealing with school part-time or full-time. How do you go about that, and how do you balance out between doing that?
Yeah. Having the ability to prioritize and organize yourself is super important. And I think while classes are so important and the priority, if you see opportunities and space that can be filled with internships or with like enriching your life in music or like listening to more, going to more, like take those opportunities, but also don't spread yourself too thin, and definitely just learn to prioritize everything. And time management is so important. Kind of all of us have touched on how like we've done a few different jobs at the same time. I know like Jordan does side jobs in addition to Beatport, and like I do both Rephlektor and Nightbase, and it's all just kind of a balancing act of time management. And like you can do it all, but you can also burn out really quickly. So just make sure that you're able to like take time for yourself. And exactly what you said, 30-minute breaks are important. Even like a 10-minute sit on the couch and like watch TikTok break is really refreshing and important. And that'll just, it's important to reset and just like prioritize yourself.
I feel like for us now, TikTok is research. So I will sit on TikTok and do some research anytime. Well, thank you for that. I hope that helped out Euphorian with some of your predicaments. This next question comes from our headliner of the evening, Mad Girl. She wants to know who's everyone's favorite female DJ. Hers is Flava D. I'll start off with Nina. Do you have some favorite? Who is your favorite female DJ?
Like, do I have to pick one? So many badasses, so many
Let's
artists
like
who
if
just,
you have like 5, like we can do 5.
5. Okay. Cruella, Anna Leno, Nina Las Vegas, Flavor D also is for sure on my list. So good shout Sabrina. Was that 5? Did I already
2 more.
out? That was only 4. 2 more?
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 more. I'm sorry. I can't count either.
Nostalgics is amazing. She's an up and comer on Nightbase. She's amazing. Keep your eye on her. Blossom Kendall also on Nightbase. Got to plug them a little bit. We have some amazing ladies on the label, and they're all amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great list, honestly. Chloe?
Yeah, sorry, I surpassed 5.
I'm gonna pass 5, obviously. 2, obviously Lucy, Vale. I love her work. She's awesome. Not Low. We just did a release with her. She's super talented as well. Trying to think a few other ones that aren't just WAKAAN, so I can broaden my horizons. But those, yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with those. Obviously, there's Zaya, there's Vampa, there's so many female, I mean, DJs that are coming out of the woodwork. It's awesome. I love it. And it's amazing. But yeah, I would say those are mine.
Yes, thank you. Jordan?
Oh my goodness. So there are so many amazing women in hard dance. And anybody who knows me knows I love hard dance, and especially hardcore. So Miss Kate out of the Netherlands, Anime out of Italy, Korsakov is amazing, DJ Lady Damage, Lady Faith, who I just saw play last night. She always kills it. And then even just outside of hard dance, I really love techno. Charlotte DeWitt changed my life when I watched her at Crossed. She's amazing. Emily Lenz is amazing. My gosh, there's so many dope women. And of course, watching Sabrina Mad Girl DJ is always so much fun. She's a fantastic DJ.
Her set is very, very nice. I had to take a peek at it and I was like, wait, I think I have to watch the whole thing now. And Maria.
Okay, so yeah, I've had to have a quick think about this to narrow it down to 5, just because there's so many good names. I want to say that one of my favorites is Whipped Cream, just for the pure energy and the variety that she brings to her sets. You can tell that she just goes like 100% and beyond in every set. Like, selection is fire. It's just so energetic. Like, I admire her for that. I think she's so entertaining. Off the top of my head, somebody mentioned Vampa. Rez, I think, does a really unique set. The variety is different every time. She takes you on a journey. Anna Luno, Amelie Lenz. I just want to shout out some of the DJs in drum and bass as well, because drum and bass is not easy. And 2 of my favorites would be Kyrist and Harriet Jackson, top selectors.
Yes, excellent. I know I wasn't asked, but I really want to put my 5 in. I have to say Vultra. She is probably the most iconic person I've ever seen as out of like the pandemic, and like being able to find. Vultra is really good. I love Nostalgics. I love Blossom. I love Lady Faith is a good one too. I really like Ducky. I like her energy that she does. Let me think of one. I have to think of like one more. Oh wow, I'm like blanking out. I really like Hades too. She's really tight too. I've been like really following her progression as of lately. It's really good. So this question is specifically for Jordan. What's the name of your cats?
I knew that you could kind of see them. I have 4 cats in this house. I have 2 and my roommate has 2, but my babies are Tyrion and Sansa. Tyrion is right here giving himself a bath. And I want to turn this over, but I might ruin everything on my desk, but that's Sansa. They like to be close to me. So, and then there's 2 other cats named Dizzy and Ruby. So
Love it.
Big cat energy in here.
Big cat energy. So the next question we have is from Spenny Dub. What are some things I can do as a male in the industry to be an ally and help my brand be more inclusive as possible? Would anyone like to start off first?
Sure. So with the brand, I think, your brand is yourself. It's energy that you're giving off. So the best thing that you can do to be an ally is to be vocal, as we were talking about a little bit earlier on. Don't be passive, engage yourself in conversations about women and female identifying people in music. Be a positive, change, and honestly just use your voice. If you can't use your voice, use your money. There are things that you can donate to. You can donate to the fantastic charity that we're doing this for today. There are different tools at your disposal. And it honestly just takes a little bit of research and, you know, talk to the women in your life and continue to, you know, you've made the right step in asking the question, and just continue to surround yourself with women and talk to women and listen to their experiences. And that way you will grow, and, you know, you will naturally, that will come through in your brand and what you put out into the world. And talk to men as well, because more men need to get involved. But you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, so I actually, Beatport just put out an article a couple of weeks ago from the women of Beatport, and one of the questions was, you know, what do we need to do in order for the industry to be more inclusive of women? And something that I said, I did not hold back, and so this applies here for sure. As a woman in the music industry, I need men to step up and call out sexism when they see it, even and especially when it's coming from their friends. That's very important. I need men to recognize that there are barriers that women face in this industry that they will never experience, and trust women that they work with to get the job done, because we can and we will. And when people have conversations about women in music and how we can progress as an inclusive industry, like this question is, I need men to pass the mic to women so that we can speak for ourselves instead of speaking for women. In that way, like in terms of supporting women through your artist project, I need men to play out music made by women, book women to play their shows, their live streams, and collaborate with women just as much as you do men. I think that kind of evening the score there makes a really, really big difference. And just checking your friends, your male friends, when they're, you know, microaggressions, there are little things that I think a lot of men aren't aware of that women face. My name is a unisex name, and I can't tell you how many times on an email I'm called bro, dude, sir, this and that. And then they meet me and they're like, oh my God, you're a woman. I didn't realize that. So things like that, it's they are microaggressions and they add up. So just try and make sure that you speak to the women in your life who are in the music industry, and maybe even just ask them, like, what are some things that you experience that make you feel isolated or left out that maybe I don't realize. That's a big one.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with that, because men really do need to hold other men accountable, especially when it comes to these certain situations that get blown up because they keep getting bottled up, and only so many write-offs can happen. You know what I'm saying? Chloe?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, using your voice, you know, being able to stand up for them, you know, when we can, we're not around, you know, and I think calling out, yeah, your peers, your friends, because a lot of people don't realize it, but sometimes they do come off a little bit sexist. They do come off rude, and you make us feel uncomfortable sometimes in certain situations. And, you know, I think being able to hold yourself, your friends, your team, whoever around you accountable, and being able to use your voice and your brand to really stand up for what's right. And also, I mean, I'll even go as far as try bringing on women to your team. I mean, have a female manager, have a female to help you with social media marketing or anything, have a female agent. I mean, the list goes on for sure.
That female touch, that feminine touch, really can make a difference. You wouldn't really notice it, but you'll recognize the difference once it's brought to you. Nina?
Yeah, Chloe, I was going to say exactly that. Kind of just look around you and see who's around you. Are there women? Are there minorities? Is it just a bunch of white people with an idea, or are you thinking outside the box? Are you including people that you want to be included? Are you speaking up for voices that aren't heard? And just like, I know it's so cliche, but be the change you want to see, you know, include, if you want to see more people, if you want to see more women around you, include more women, invite more women, and maybe even take the time to give those opportunities to a woman if you may, even if you're doubting her or reconsidering, maybe just take a chance on someone and you'll be pleasantly surprised, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. It's taking that one chance and that leap for you to bring into someone and bring them onto your team, and just realize how inclusive they can be, and you never know what doors they might open for you that this person might not be able to. That was a great question. Thank you for that one. This next question is from Girl Jackie, which I'm pretty sure is from Girl Gang, so thank you for your question. She's asked, now that there's a presence and expectation set, what can we do to change the objectification of women on any and every level in the industry? precedent? I'm
That's a
sorry.
good question.
Uh,
That date's nice and deep.
oh yeah. I did, and I was like, wait, and then now reading it out loud, I was like, okay, wait.
I mean, I have a lot of opinions about this actually as a curator, because when I'm going through releases, and it's funny when I tweet about this, and there are men who are like, nobody even does this anymore. You know, when you see like album artwork that just shows like some naked woman, like a stocking, like some woman's ass, and that's marketing apparently. We need to stop that, like, completely. It's so tacky. It's like it should be left way in the past. And I know that there are still like YouTube videos that are like they market EDM with like women in bikinis or like implied nudity, and it's always these men who are pushing out these images. I think that women in music, they can express themselves in whatever way they please. They can use their body however they please, and if they choose to kind of be like wear revealing clothes or do anything like that, that's their prerogative, and that's totally fine. But I have an issue when men use it to sell their music and to sell their brand. I don't like that at all. So when it comes to objectification of women in music, yeah, don't do that. It's very tacky, and I will not feature a release that has artwork like that at all. And I've even come across like songs that are called like "Smack a Bitch" or like just stuff that's so ridiculous that I will not give that a platform. And then especially like I need men to stop commenting on how women present themselves. Like I've just seen some guys come for women DJs who decide to wear a crop top and some shorts, and they're like, wow, she's obviously like trying to impress men or like sell her body in order to be successful, and that's just not the case. It's a very, very closed-minded way of thinking. We know exactly what we're doing and why we're making the choices to do it, and this is what we feel comfortable wearing. So don't look at us as objects in that sense.
Absolutely. Nina, do you want to go off of that?
Yeah, definitely. So Jordan just nailed it in every sense. And I think it's important to just like how a woman dresses or carry themselves or use social media is not like indicative to their talent or what they can and cannot do. Just because a girl DJ wants to wear a cute crop top or even like a bathing suit, God forbid, doesn't mean they don't know how to DJ or it's a pre-recorded set. Like those things don't equal one another. And so many men, for some reason, it's just like ingrained in their brain that that's what that means. Like, oh, that girl's dressed kind of weird. Like I bet she doesn't know what she's doing. You can dress however you want and still know what you're doing. It doesn't matter. And like, why don't we don't judge men like that? Plenty of men wear terrible outfits, and yeah, I will judge their terrible outfit, but I don't think any less of what their DJ set is. And I just think like smashing those standards and just calling them out. Like if people have that mindset, just call people out, hold them accountable for that like closed mind, and just like start showing them that it doesn't work like that. That's not true.
Absolutely. I definitely think like the whole releasing music and releasing artwork, like objectifying women from a male marketing standpoint is definitely wrong. Like it's great to have women as marketing managers and people like that get like that last, little final say, just be like, I don't think that's very right. Like some of these even like ad libs and samples and songs, I'm just like, we don't need to be talking about ass, titties, and pussy. Like, come on, don't ban me, Twitch. But like like stuff like that needs to like be done with. I definitely agree with that. Chloe?
You guys nailed it on the head. I completely agree. I mean, I think it's bullshit that people think just because a girl dressed all cute and in a crop top and looking hot or whatever, they're like, oh, she only got that because of that reason. Like, no, it's not. It's because she's talented. And yeah, I totally agree with what both of you said. So
Yeah, Maria, anything to add to
Yeah,
that?
I mean, once again, yeah, that totally nails it on the head. But I just want to like add another facet of the objectification of women in music as well. It's something I've noticed more sort of being at events and at in-person things. I have like on more than one occasion heard of artists having riders and girls are listed as something on the rider. So it will be like, it will be like, do you want smokes? Do you want drink? Like, do you want a towel? And the girls will be on the list. And it's, you know, women just being offered up as some sort of complement to the music experience, and it almost just kind of screams the message that women have no purposeful meaning here besides, you know, being something that can entertain men. And just going off that as well, you know, that kind of leads into things like the assumptions about women only being backstage or at a show or at a festival because they're there to sleep with somebody. And that's the sort of role that you've been assigned as a woman backstage, is that you're there to sleep with somebody. And I've had that so many more times than I could even count, is, oh, who's your boyfriend? Who are you there to sleep with? Or will you sleep with me? Because there's no other possible reason that you could be here backstage apart from for a sexual reason. So that's another sort of way that we could stamp out the objectification of women, is just in those spaces and any space, you know, don't assume she's there for male consumption. She's there for work, or she's there for networking. There are a million other reasons. That's something that needs to stop for sure.
Absolutely. I've definitely done like some shows where I've gone out and they're like, oh, who are you here with? And I'm just like, I'm here to interview the headliner. Please don't, like, I'm already anxious enough. I don't need to be mad and anxious.
I have something else to add that I forgot. Also, like venues that still, when shows come back, venues that offer free cover charge for women and like $10 for men, that needs to stop. That needs to stop, because that basically implies that the women are the product. If guys have to pay to get in and girls don't, because it's going to guarantee that more women go, you are the product. That's what they're selling. So I absolutely don't agree with the fact that women can go for free. And I've heard men say like, oh, you women have it so easy, you can get into clubs for free. And it's like, well, we don't want to, because that we don't want to be a product in the club. So I need venues to stop doing that.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Someone in the chat, excuse me, Mad Girl, she was like, imagine if I put boys on my rider. People would be like, what? They'd be like, you want boys? Like, that's weird.
Honestly, I've never forgotten about that. And I talk about it all the time. I just cannot believe that was a real thing. It was only like a couple years ago as well. Like, stop doing that.
Red line it. I'm definitely, if I ever see that, red line, I'm never gonna give you girls, bro. You're gonna be the only person in green room, I promise. So thank you everyone for these lovely questions. This is really great to get more in depth into this and bring more awareness to some of the situations some people aren't even aware of. So thank you guys. This last question I have is from Cesar Cruz. We love Cesar. Thank you for joining us. He wants to know he was like, I was wondering what each of you would consider to be your biggest accomplishment or favorite memory so far while working in the industry. Y'all need a couple minutes. I can go first, because whenever I read this question, I kind of like thought about it. It was basically going to a music festival and running media like by myself with someone else that I brought along with me that I like hired on as my team. It was very fulfilling being able to go back to a festival that has welcomed us back. It was Imagine Music Festival. Shout out to them. We were able to go out there, do our thing, and just kill it. And it's just really nice that the PR company was really, really nice. And it was a great accomplishment to be able to do that. And some other stuff was just being able to meet some of the artists because of TRILLVO, because of how I've been able to do it. Like, music, of course, holds a very special place in my heart. It helps me out through a lot, and being able to like see these artists or even meet them just was very, very nice. And I feel like I can speak for all of us that whenever we meet that person that not essentially really idolize, but like we listen to their music all the time, and it's like it's just different being able to just say hi to them. I try not to converse with some of my favorite artists because I just don't want that to be declined, but I really do love music, and being able to meet some of my favorite artists has been really great memories all around. Maria, we'll start off with you.
I have so many good memories in music. Like you were saying, it's just one of the most fulfilling things ever to just reflect on how far you've come and compare your current self to your past self, and kind of just really like let yourself live that moment and have a reflection on how far you've come, because like you've worked hard. I would say personally for me, if I had to pick like one of my favorite, most rewarding things. It's a little bit obvious, but it would be when I found out that I had got the job at Never Say Die. And this is because going into it, I was so like, I had convinced myself that I was so like underqualified and I wasn't the right person, and it wasn't my time yet to have such an all-encompassing, you know, dictating role at a company that I had admired for so long. And I almost pulled out of my interview. I almost didn't go for it because I was just like, you know, like this isn't like, I'm not ready for this. And I was so intimidated, and I was less confident back then. And like I said, I've spoken about the imposter syndrome. So going through with it and actually getting it and then having that achievement to me is definitely like one of my favorite memories and one of the things that I hold dearest and what I've done in my career so far. And I can't wait to just carry on. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. But that's definitely it for me.
That's awesome. I could only imagine it's like that email or that phone call. You're like, wow. Jordan?
So I've done a lot in my career, and there are so many great memories. Like Maria said, like there's just a lot. I feel like when I talk to people about my career, they assume that like my biggest accomplishment and like my proudest moment is working for Skrillex was obviously great. But I think that the proudest, like the best memory I have of when I felt like, oh my God, this is everything I've ever wanted, was when I hosted Insomniac Radio live from EDC 2019. That was and the role just fell into my lap. It's because somebody who had to do it couldn't go, and somebody I was working with at Nest kind of referred me to it. And they were like, yeah, we just need someone to like interview artists in the artist village. And I'm like, yeah, I already have like access, so you don't need to list me. Like, okay, cool. Like I thought it was just going to be pretty casual, but when I saw the setup, I interviewed over 50 artists over the 3 days. And my very last interview was with Armin van Buuren. And I was so nervous because like he hosts his own radio show and he's so legendary. And I just remember being like, I can't believe I get to do this. And like my parents got to listen and they heard me on the radio doing interviews and like just introducing like live sets. And I think that was just like, it's everything I've ever wanted. I have all these posts from when I was younger saying, I just want to be like on TV or on the radio. And so these hosting opportunities are amazing. And I got to do on-camera hosting for Hard Summer that same year too. So I'm very grateful to Insomniac for trusting me with that. And hopefully when shows come back, I get to do more hosting. So
Yes, I'm sure you'll be all up in that. That's awesome. Like for festivals, I only do like 3 or 4, like throughout the whole 3 weekends, the 3-day weekend. But you said you did 50 in the 3 days, and that sounds intense. That sounds
it was
intense.
about 5-minute interviews each time, but like, so it goes really fast, but I wasn't prepared like with questions or anything. I kind of just went off the cuff and it went really well. So that definitely was it.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that one. Nina?
It's kind of hard to pick one, but I guess I will go with a moment that happened at Rephlektor, I guess 2.5, 3 years ago. I no longer have any sense of time. So I can't exactly remember the year. I think it was 2018, 2019, but I'm given the opportunity to approach artists that we want to do PR for and bring them on as a client if they are interested. And one of the first people I approached to be our client was Anna Leno, and I had been a fangirl of hers for years and like always talking to her on Twitter, and like she definitely knew I existed, but not as like really an industry professional. And I had hung out with her at a show she played in Exchange, and I emailed her the next day and I was like, this is kind of, thanks for last night, it was so fun. Like, by the way, I do PR if you ever like want to publish this. And she replied and was like, oh my God, cool, I'm looking for a new one. And like, we set up a call the next day, and like, someone on her management team is someone that I had, when I was interning at Mad Decent, was her manager. So it came very full circle. And after one really quick and easy 10-minute phone call, they were like, yeah, we want to work with you. And I was like, I can't even believe it. Like, it was really surreal because just I had looked up to her and loved I loved her music and her DJ sets for so long. It was like, what, you want to work with me? So I would say that was a really proud moment, and we ran an amazing campaign for her around her 303 EP release, and I'm really proud of that.
And that goes back to taking that opportunity and taking every opportunity and just
I was so scared to
was.
email her too.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I was like, this is so embarrassing, but like, it's not embarrassing. It's my job. And like, look what it did.
Yes, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm glad you got over that little
Thank you.
Chloe.
I'm there are so many, obviously. I would have to say the WAKAAN Festival. It was the first year and it was beautiful in every way and it was executed perfectly. We sold out. It was amazing. And it was to be a part of something that special with my team. It was one of the most magical moments ever. And I would say that's really big for me. And then the other thing would definitely be, with the pandemic happening, it really slowed things down for people, but it kind of was opposite for me, actually. More artists were making way more music. We were putting out way more records, which let me step into a bigger role at the label. And now, like I said, I'm assisting with label management, and now I'm a part of these, signing records and submitting them and working with a distributor and all these DSPs and making sure, playlisting, and it's all over the place. And that is so fulfilling to me, that's amazing. And I'm really proud of myself, because that's a dream come true to me.
Snaps all around, ladies. Snaps all
for
around. Snaps for
everybody.
everyone. Yes, I love that. I love hearing about the accomplishments, and it's really great to be able to like reflect back, and you're just like, wow, I did that, and I am doing that. It's really great to hear everything. Again, thank you, ladies, so much for your time. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope everyone got a little bit piece of advice from these ladies and just feel a little bit more empowered and more aware of some of the stuff that goes on in our industry and honestly in our world in every aspect. So we're gonna go ahead and end this panel. We are gonna be playing Farah's mix to be our gateway into the stream. So again, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, ladies, so much for your time. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Love
Yes.
everyone.
Yes, thank y'all
Thank you,
so much.
Victoria.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. So, yes, hearts in the chat forever. Oh, yes, for us. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Y'all stick around. We got a great live stream for you guys. It starts right at 8 o'clock Central Time. So keep it locked into our stream. Okay.